Thank you for joining us for this episode of Recipe Share, a program on AADL TV where we take a few minutes to talk about recipes in a featured category. Today's category is Snack Attack. I'm Katie, and as usual, I'm joined today by Elizabeth and Beth to tell us about their recipes. So Elizabeth, tell us what you chose this week.
Sure. Thanks, Katie. So I chose to make the original Chex party mix. This is a tradition that my mom usually makes around the holidays. I'm not really sure why, but I think just for gathering, it's fun to eat. And indeed, on the box, it's still there on all the Chex Mix boxes. It's very easy to do. Basically, you make the kind of dressing, which is butter, Worcestershire, never know how to say that, but that sauce, some seasoned salt, garlic powder, onion powder, melt that up in the microwave and stir it up. And then you have corn Chex, rice Chex, wheat Chex, mixed nuts, bagel chips, which is the best part. And then it calls for pretzels. I'm not a huge pretzel fan, so I substituted Cheez-Its because I am a huge Cheez-Its fan. And you mix it all up in a bowl, spread it out on a big baking sheet, and then kind of slow bake it in the oven at 250 degrees for about an hour. It seems pretty fail-safe, and I think it is if you have the right tools. I literally just didn't have a big enough bowl to mix it all together really well. And I should have made the recipe smaller, but I guess I was just following it. And so mine cooked a little unevenly. Like I have some really nicely dressed bits. I have a photo here that we can throw in so you can see. I have some really nicely dressed bits and then some bits that basically just taste like a corn Chex that was in the oven for an hour. But that's my own fault. So I would say you need a really big bowl to get the sauce really well distributed. But other than that, totally fail safe. It takes like 4 minutes to put together. And it's not the healthiest snack in the world, but it is really yummy and great for just having around and grabbing a handful of, or having some while you're watching TV. And I like how easy it is to substitute stuff too, because I was thinking, Katie, with you being gluten-free, the rice Chex would work for you. Obviously, pretzels wouldn't, but nuts would. I mean, there's some stuff you could throw in that would work. So it's a classic, and lots of good family memories for me with that. And I do like making it yourself because you can make some modifications. So yeah.
Very, very nice. That is such a classic. I feel like I can smell it. I remember the way that it makes the house smell when you bake that up. So good.
Yeah. I love how there's so many variation possibilities too now than when it was first created. But yeah, it's a classic. You're right. And it's always good.
Yep. That's pretty much it. So Beth, over to you.
All right. Well, I'm a big snacking fan. I could eat snacks all day. I practically do now at the office, just so I can just to have my mask off. But so I love snacks. I already shared my Rootin' Tootin' popcorn before. That's a pretty go-to one. So I went with my all-time favorite, which is onion soup or French onion dip, whatever. French onion dip, typically made from onion soup. That's why I said it. That's normally how I have made that dip over the years. But this time I wanted to see how well I could do it with caramelized onions. So I first made it just without even looking up a recipe, because I have also been known as the dip queen in my life. So I just figured I'd wing it, and I did. And it was good. I used Greek yogurt, caramelized onions, a little salt. I think that was it. then I decided to make it again. And this time I really prefer sour cream, but Greek yogurt is so much better for you. I mean, and I studied it, but I was like, you know what? Let's use sour cream this time. So I looked up a recipe and it was very good. Curtis really liked it a lot, so it was caramelized onion that I got from Simply Recipes. This added some balsamic vinegar, and it also added a teaspoon of brown sugar. That's where I probably next time I won't add that, because I don't like my savory stuff sweet. I mean, unless it's meant to be, but I don't like sweet, and the onions themselves get a little sweet. So next time, which is probably any hour now, I will chop up the onions, saute them in olive oil, and then add a little balsamic vinegar, and then also some Worcestershire. And then I'll go back to the Greek yogurt because it's better for me. This one also included mayo. There were some that had cream cheese, so it's like whatever you have on hand, but for me it'll be that. And even though it was slightly sweet, the salt of the potato chips makes it just fine. And by the next day it was really good. It was good. So I'm down. But I really want to emphasize how much better it is for you than pouring that onion soup mix with all the sodium and chemicals. That's probably why I may revert to this one, taking the time on it instead of like quickly throwing it in there and like I usually do. Just make more mindful dip. So any questions or comments?
I love onion dip too. I make it I usually use Greek yogurt also, but sometimes I put in like 2/3 Greek yogurt and then 1/3 sour cream, just for that flavor. But so what do you use? Red onion, white onion, shallot? What do you use?
This was a yellow onion.
Yellow
That's
onion.
right
Okay.
on hand. Yeah, but I'd use any onion, and actually shallot would be really yummy too.
I did that. That's the one I most recently did, and it was good, but yeah, I was just curious what you historically use.
Yeah. So the balsamic vinegar, and I'm not a big vinegar user, but that just really added, I don't know, just some depth to it. And then a dash of Worcestershire too. So yum. Did you go ahead? Sorry, Katie.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I'm gonna try this. I'm super excited about it. I have a pile actually of shallots that I need to use up. So perfect.
Yeah.
It sounds really good. And I love that you took it from something that was a mix to something that is more mindful. And you sauteing the onion is just like genius. It's like, why weren't you doing that the whole time? Because it takes some time. I understand that, but
it's worth it.
Yeah, it just seems like it would be worth it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So onions are cheap, so anyway, thanks for letting me share that. And Katie, how about you? What did you make this week?
All right. Well, I'm super excited to share. I made cheese crackers.
Ooh.
Okay. So they're cheesy almond flour crackers. And I originally found the original recipe at this website called the Toasted Pine Nut. But the first time that I followed the directions and made them, they were kind of like fluffy, cheesy mini biscuits. And that's got its place, but it's not what I was looking for. I wanted a cracker. So I sort of messed with the recipe and cut down a lot of the ingredients and rolled things out thinner to make them more crackery. And I adjusted like the cooking time and stuff. But basically what you do is you take a 1/2 cup of blanched almond flour and a 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar cheese and put them in the food processor for 30 seconds. Then you add about a tablespoon of water, another 30 seconds in the food processor, and that makes your dough. And it's kind of amazing that those 3 things mixed together do make this cheesy dough. And so you roll it out on a cutting board that's got parchment paper on it, and you can use a pizza cutter to cut it into squares, or I have little mini cookie cutters. So I made little stars and hearts and little flowers. I don't know how well you can see those, but then of course I also have your classic square as well. And then poke a little hole with a chopstick in the center. I don't know how well you can see that, but like, so it resembles your commercial cheese crackers. It's just decorative, so it's just cute. And then you put them in the oven at 350 for about 10 minutes. And then what I was doing was I was pulling out the sheet pan, which is also lined with parchment paper or Silpat, and then pulling off any of the crackers that looked like they were starting to get golden, and then putting the pan back in the oven in like 3 to 5 minute increments and pulling them out, because they were not all done like after the 10 minutes, but some of them were. And definitely, so I've made this like 3 times now, and I noticed that if you cook them ever so slightly longer than done, they get a little bitter. So it's really sort of important to pull them at the right time. So this is kind of one that you need to watch. But so worth it, because I have cheese crackers now. You guys, it's been a long time. So to me, they do taste like Cheez-Its. That's what I was going for. But it's been probably about 5 years since I've had an actual Cheez-It. So I don't have that side-by-side taste comparison, which I'm fine with. These are great. I'm going to be making them forever, and I'm super happy to have cheese crackers in my life again.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that you do. And I can imagine if you use some good sharp cheese, or just, good cheese, it's going to taste good. So.
Yeah, even with the biscuit, the biscuit ones that I made, that's why I kept going, because the flavor was just, I was like, I can taste it. I can taste the Cheez-It in here.
I feel like too, there would be room for adding like other flavors, like throw in some chili powder, like throw in some like a little bit of rosemary, like just you could really add some like flavors to those pretty easily, which would be really yummy too.
Most definitely. I was thinking about putting hot sauce in the batter, but rosemary,
yeah,
that's a really good idea. I like that a lot. Yep, next time.
Sounds awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching Recipe Share, and be sure to click the link below to look at the event page on aadl.org to find the recipes we talked about and share your own in the comments. Join us next time when we'll be talking about farmers market finds. We're looking forward to seeing what you've been making. So thanks for sharing.